Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of Spartan Crew Gaming, and today we are talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and what kind of playstyles you'll be able to take. Of course, this game was originally inspired by a tabletop game called Cyberpunk 2020, and there were different classes in that game. Now, of course, in Cyberpunk 2077, there is a fluid class system, but still I want to talk over the possibilities of what we might see in the game due to playstyles. Let's go. So in Cyberpunk 2020, there are a few different classes, and we're going to talk about how those classes might work in Cyberpunk 2077, and maybe how we can build our characters to be like those classes. Or maybe not even be like those classes, but to have a play style like them. So first off, let's talk about solos. They are basically the bounty hunters of Cyberpunk. They will work for the gang leaders, or the people on the streets, or they will work for the corpos. Whoever is paying them the most, they will work for. They're really allied to nobody, and they're after all the Euro dollars they can get, or eddies. And basically, they're the bounty hunters. I could see myself definitely playing a character like this. I think that's kind of what V was in this trailer, or not the trailer, but in the game play reveal we got. She definitely seemed more like a solo who was working for the street gangs, and it's really cool. They kind of take both of the ways of either working for corpos or the street gangs, or really working for whoever they want. They're really after money, which is kind of cool, a little bit like Han Solo, but maybe a little more like Boba Fett. Another playstyle or character class that you could pick from 2020 was Nomad. Basically, these people were the smugglers of Cyberpunk. Kind of like Han Solo, they'd be taking stuff around that people really didn't want to be, taken around. Basically, they deliver stuff that wasn't meant to be delivered to people, smuggling things that weren't supposed to be smuggled places. And again, since Cyberpunk 2077 is really leaning into role-playing being a huge deal, I think that, they're going to allow us to explore these playstyles with their fluid class system. And I could definitely see people playing Nomads, delivering things and, making sure they go under the radar. I think this would be a cool playstyle, especially if you're trying to, kind of be a spy and trying to get things maybe from corpos to street gangs. So, you're inside the corporations and you're smuggling out tech to the street gangs, maybe Maelstrom or maybe Dex. And it would be really cool just to see how that could work. I think that'd be an awesome idea. Next, let's talk about netrunners. So netrunners in the Cyberpunk universe are basically the hackers of the world. They're actually, I think, those people that kind of sit into chairs where their head's plugged in. I believe, I may be mistaken. But basically, netrunners are your hackers. These guys get into the system, get into the network, and I can definitely see you doing this in the game. I think it would probably go more towards hacking and getting inside the systems of maybe other people who are cybernetically enhanced, also unlocking doors and getting into buildings. I think if you're more of a netrunner hacker kind of person, I could see yourself being a stealthy, cool character. Of course, this is all speculation, but I hope there is a really cool netrunner playstyle where you can do a lot of hacking through the network and maybe get through zones easier because you've already scanned them all out by hacking the network even before you got there, maybe even from your apartment or from your car, or you're just using your cool tech. I think it could be a really fun way to play, especially since this game's all about cybernetic enhancement, and I think being a netrunner would be a very interesting playstyle, however it works. Now, let's talk about rocker boys. So rocker boys are basically rock stars, kind of, but they're also people of influence, people who can change the minds of others and influence them to follow them. So I feel like if you are going to play like that in Cyberpunk 2077, you'd be a character with a lot of street cred, maybe with a lot of almost charisma kind of points, which I think might be cool points in Cyberpunk. And basically, someone who can talk themselves out of situations, or maybe talk people into doing their work for them. I think this could be a very interesting play style. I know that in the game, no matter what, you're going to have to get into fights sometimes, but it'd be really cool to play a character who can get other people to do their dirty work. Maybe getting Jackie to do your missions for you, or getting other people that are even, above you doing your dirty work for you, which would be interesting. I think it would be an interesting play style to play as someone who can really influence those around them. Now, I doubt, being a proper rocker boy, I don't know if you're going to go around the game playing a guitar all the time. Basically, you're a person of influence, and I think that could be really awesome and a really cool way to play, talking yourself out of situations. Of course, I like action, so I'd probably go more for a solo, personally. But last but not least, we're going to talk about the last class or playstyle, and that is, of course, corpos. So in Cyberpunk 2020, you could play as corpos. These guys are multimillionaires working for the corporations. They're the big guns. They're the people we met in the gameplay reveal. The lady's like, hey, here's 50,000 eddies on this credit chip. You know, do your business with it. Basically, they're powerful people, and they're the other play style I'd probably go for. I'd either be a solo or a corpo, and I think that, of course, again, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to allow you to go down these kind of paths with this fluid class system. I think being a corpo would be really cool, building yourself up inside an organization, then maybe betraying them, or maybe not betraying them and becoming the top leader of a corporation. I think that could be really, really awesome, and something that can, I think, just allow so much freedom in this RPG. I feel like RPGs need to allow you to be who you want to be, and I feel like Cyberpunk's leading towards that, and I think being a part of a corporation or being a corpo could be a really interesting tactic to take, because in my games I like to play the good guy that kind of becomes bad for a while and then betrays the bad guys like from a really high up position. Of course, if you're a corpo in this game, I'm sure you'd get some like pretty wicked gear, and we already kind of see that option revealed in the gameplay reveal at the end. You know, the lady's like, hey, we should work together more often, and you can actually say to her gladly and hopefully open a quest with her, be working with her more, and who knows, maybe even joining Militech. And I would love to see these explored. I really believe they will be, and I just thought it'd be cool to present to you guys the backstory of some of the classes that you could pick in 2020. I know that 2027, or not 2020, but 2077, of course, does have a fluid class system, but I think it's going to allow you to take these play styles and use them, and I think it's going to be really cool to see what you do. So tell me in the comments below what kind of class you would want to be, even though the game doesn't have a class system. You know, what kind of play style are you going to go after? Are you going to be the person that influences people like a rocker boy? Are you going to be a solo, the guy that goes in and, you know, gets rid of the bad guys just for the money, no matter who's paying him? You know, I think it could be really awesome just to explore all these routes. So tell me in the comments below what kind of character you play as, what your playstyle is gonna be. Nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for watching. Could not do this without you guys, and could not do it without God. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This is your host, Spartan Crew Gaming, signing off. See you guys later.